Hi, and welcome to Smart Beach Investors weekly real estate update for Florida's Emerald Coast. This is where we take a look at the vital market statistics, looking for trends and anything that will tell us where prices are headed in the short term and even the long term. Then we offer a little bit of analysis that will help you determine whether you should buy, sell, or hold your property. All right? That's what we do. I'm John Moran. I am the CEO and founder of Keller Williams Realty's At the Beach team and Smart Beach Investor. And that's what we're going to do here. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about what we're seeing in real estate this week. And I find this interesting, really interesting. It's this. I'm seeing more and more properties hitting my email. Okay? It's hitting my inbox because what I have are criteria set up because I'm a buyer. I'm still a buyer, even in whatever market. If the numbers work for me. I'm a long-term believer in our real estate market over time. Not so much in the short term, but over time, definitely. Okay? So I got this criteria set up. If something should fit in that box, I'm going to take a hard look at it. Okay? So for the longest time, I wasn't getting anything. It wouldn't fit. I couldn't get it to work in the box. I'd worked the numbers. It didn't work. So I wouldn't even look at them if the numbers didn't work. But now I'm getting more and more properties are fitting into my box, and I'm taking a longer look at them. Okay, and I find that interesting. Why are there more properties? And it's mostly because the price is coming down. So we are seeing some softening in prices, and the reason why I know is they're showing up in my possibilities folder for investing. So I think that's interesting. Then I'm wondering, why on earth is that happening other than the normal things? Because it's been slow to happen. So I want to make sure I understand what's going on. And I think what I've come up with is this. It's flippers. It's flippers. Not the flippers in the sense that we've known recently that buy, do some value add, and then sell for big bucks. It's not those folks, because that ain't happening. I think what it is are the negative flippers. The ones that bought in the last couple of years and got stuck with these properties because they're not going up in value to the point they need. And the cost to own these bad boys is killer. It's gone up so much over the last little while. And the buyers have faded because the mortgages are so high and the costs are so high and the numbers don't work. People like me, I am buying that unless something changes. So then it comes down to what changes. And I think what's happening is it's a liquidity event for these folks. They got in 2020, 21, even 22, thinking they were going to make a lot of money. It was going to be easier than they thought. They're going to have all this stuff, but the rents are getting all this stuff. And they're not working out for them, and they're getting out before what they feel is a market giving way on prices. And I think that's what's going on. Let's take a look. I did some research. So let's take a look at if that is a thing. So I did some research and I just randomly looked up properties. I looked up probably 6 or 7 of them that are listed for sale that came on the market in the last 30 to 60 days, probably up to 60 days, I think is what it was. And I just picked some out. I wanted to see what their history was. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at these. All right. So look at the first one here. All right. The guy is selling it, or the woman, whoever it is selling it, but they bought it in February of 2020. That's not that long ago, is it? Certainly within 3, not quite 4 years. That's a quick out, especially if you look before. They bought it in 09. And now the guy before him bought it in 09 and sold it in 2020. That's a decent hold. These folks bought it probably with the idea it was going to go up and it wasn't going to cost much, but now they got to get out because they can't afford to hold it. So they're getting out after a short one. Look at the one here in the middle. Same story. They bought this in April of 2021, not that long ago, okay? The person before that owned it from 2002 until 2021 when this guy bought it. So yeah, this guy's getting out fast too. The third one here, and again, these are just randoms. I don't even know if they're houses or condos. I just pull with random for sales, okay? Here, this person has owned it since 21 as well, right? So roughly 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. Before that, though, the person bought it in 2014, held it for at least 7 years. All right. Well, yeah, at least 7. So to me, it looks like in this little sample that folks are feeling the weight of carrying these properties and they don't want to do it. Nope, they don't want to do it. So they're getting out. Get me out of this mess. All right. Let's take a look. Same thing on 30A. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at 30A. Is the same kind of thing happening there? I think it is. Take a look at this. Okay, here's one. Guy bought in 21. All right. This one, look at the history on this one. All right. Somebody bought it in 12 for 500, held it for 5 years, sold it for what? 685. That person held it for 4 years, sold it for 960. This guy's had it for a couple years now, and he's getting out. I think he's a negative flipper. It's probably costing him more. They're not going up, all that stuff. He doesn't have liquidity. He doesn't have the stomach to stay in it for a long haul. Look at the middle one. What's going on there? Somebody bought it in 05. Well, that's probably a bill. They put a crazy, well, 05, it's 2,214,000. All right. This is the other kind. 05, the height of the market, somebody buys it for 2.2. The market crashes. It goes down to 1.7. All right. So the guy buys it in 2014 for 1.7. That's a big loss for that seller. But then this guy holds it and he sells it 7 years later for 2,575,000. Then this guy buys it a couple years later, last year, for 4,387,500. All right, there's the crazy market at work. And now this guy's getting cold feet. He doesn't have confidence in get more than 4,387,000. He's getting out. He's like, get me out of this mess. Classic. All right, look at the third one here. What's the history here? 530 in 03, right? The big history, Mac Daddy of the run-ups. Went up to 530. That guy couldn't handle it, or he hung in there for a long time till 2012 and said, that's it, I'm getting out. So he sold for 500. And then the magic started to happen. 5 years after that, somebody sells it for what? 605. And then 4 years later, it's 960. Now this guy's only a few years into it and he's getting out again. He doesn't have confidence. He doesn't want to carry this in the downturn. All right? Pretty symptomatic, I think, of what's going on in this market. Let's take a look at Panama City, see if that's the same thing. I bet it is, but let's look. Take a look at Panama City. Here's Panama City, all right? First one, somebody buys in 82. This goes back a ways, right? 94,000. 1 year later, it's up to 110. Okay, this is the original run-up, right? Not the subprime, but even before that in the 80s, okay? So then the guy buys in 83, hangs on to it, though, for a long, long time, till 2000, what is that, 8, where he sold for 350. All right, that's 3 times the money he had into it. That's good. But then that guy hangs on to it until the person bought it last year for 468. They haven't had it hardly any time at all, and they're getting out. All right, they're getting out. They don't want to be in it anymore. They don't have confidence. How about the middle guy? Let's take a look at the middle one here. 80,000. 2 years later, it's 83. I don't know that long, so they probably did a quick claim deed into a company for 85. And then they held it for 10 years, went up to 98. And then from 95 to 2021, that's a long hold. They doubled their money to 206. This person, though, he's only had it a couple years, wants out. No confidence in the future. All right. Third one, okay, 05. All right, remember, it's expensive in 05. It's crazy. Everybody gets a place. 173. Uh-oh, that person hung on to it for a long time till 2016, but then sold for 118. Wah, wah, wah. Now, in 2020, somebody buys it for 189. Well, that's good, all right? That's back up. But then that guy turned around and sold it for 250. Nice. Except now maybe the music has stopped and the person's looking for a chair and they're worried they're not going to get one. So now this guy who bought it in what? Just bought it. Barely has it. He's trying to get out of it. All right. What? Wah, wah, wah. He thinks the music stopped and he's getting out. So as you can see, Panama City's playing that same game. Do a quick summary of what's going on. I think there's been a lot of amateur investors that jumped into this market when money was cheap and easy to get, and they were seeing all this big jumps in value and all this, so they wanted to get to be part of it. We saw this before. I remember back in 2005, 6, 7, when it was crazy and all that same stuff. People were jumping in. They had no business. They weren't in it for the long haul. They had no idea what was going on. I think that's what's happening here. And you're getting these short timers, or these amateurs are getting cold feet and they're jumping. Now the question is there some advantage here? Or are these folks, is there going to be enough of them to pull the values down, to pull the values across the board down? It's going to take a good number of them. Last time we had wholesale foreclosures and short sales. I think what we have now are just cold feet people. I don't know if it's going to be enough to pull the values down, but it's certainly going to be enough to keep them from going up. All right? We'll have to watch this. That's going to be interesting to me. And then is there going to be a value in watching the market? Maybe there's some buy opportunities. So if you're a long-term player and you're looking for a buy opportunity, send an email here. Send an email to info@SmartBeachInvestor. We'll make sure you're alerted anytime prices come down, and maybe they come down to fit in your box. These are where your buying opportunities are. The colder the feet, the better the buy. I'm watching them. So I think that could be an upside. So that's what we're seeing with regard to that. I call them negative flippers. All right. What else are we watching? Let's take a look at what else we're watching. Well, we're watching mortgages because you always got to watch the mortgages, what are going on. Every time mortgage rates go up, it makes it harder for buyers to buy. Affordability goes down. All right, look at this report. Look at this report coming out of CNN. All right, here, I'll read it to you. Mortgage rates continued to climb last week amid even stronger than expected economy and geopolitical uncertainty in the Middle East. Can you say war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But it's out there. Okay, let's carry on. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 7.63 in the week ending October 19th, up from 7.57 the week before, according to data from Freddie Mac released on Thursday. A year ago, it was high, but it was only at 6.94. Mortgage rates continue to approach 8% this week, further impacting affordability, says Sam Cater, Freddie Mac's chief economist. All right? That's what's going on with mortgages. It's getting more expensive. Everybody expects it to get more expensive. That's going to put pressure on these cold feeders. Watch for them, people. Watch for them. What else? What else are we looking at? Let's take a look at inventory. What's the impact on inventory? Are there enough cold feeders that are going to push this down? Let's take a look. I pulled the numbers month over month. Let's take a look. They're right here. Destin condos, inventory down 20.4%. Not very many cold feeders yet. There's enough. There's enough for you to find a good deal, but there's not enough to carry the whole market and let the amateurs get good deals. All right. Destin houses down 6.8%. Okay, same story. Inventory's not growing, it's shrinking. All right. 38 condos down 13.7. Okay. 38 houses down 23.4. No inventory relief there. Okay. This is going to offset some of those cold feeders. But again, if you're an investor playing a long game, look at those cold feet people as an opportunity to buy. They'll get out, and I think they'll sell cheap. Make them an offer, right? If you're not in it, be very, very careful because the market's very iffy right now. Panama City, all right? Condos down 10%. Inventory. Houses down 12%. So again, they're down. Don't look to inventory to save the day on this, okay? It's not happening. Let's give the whole week a summary. You got some folks that bought in the last little bit, right? We're playing musical chairs here, people. We are playing musical chairs, and a lot of folks are getting nervous because there's not that very many chairs left. Matter of fact, half the chairs are gone, and the buyers they're not going to come back with these rates going up, all right? So the only way they're going to get back in the game is if rates come down, which good luck with that. I don't see that happening. or prices come down. Yeah, that's probably a more likely event. Or costs come down. That ain't happening. Right? I don't see insurance costs coming down. I don't see all that stuff. So really all the pressure is going to be on owners and prices. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on these folks that bought in the last few years, like we looked at. And I think a good number of them are just going to say, I don't want this. I didn't buy into this. It's supposed to go up. It wasn't going to cost this much. I want out. Those are the ones you're going to have to watch for, okay? Because those are buying opportunities. Send an email, info@smartbeachinvestor, if you're in it and you want to buy, because we can watch that for you. Here's the other thing. If you're a long-term owner, send an email and buy. This is a buying opportunity. Even if you don't, get your rent up, because that's really what you want to do. If you're not in it for a long haul, let's talk about you for a minute. If you're only a 5-year player, 5 years or less, because that's what I call long haul in this abbreviated market we have. I think the next few years are just going to be rocky as can be as the Fed starts to sort things out, continues to sort things out. This war stuff, we got Ukraine, we've got the Middle East, we got China and Taiwan. Oh my, we got stuff. And I think all of that's going to have impacts in some form or fashion on our local real estate market. Whether people buy, whether they invest, whether they pull out, I don't know, whatever they're going to do. Those are big geopolitical issues. They're going to have an impact. They just got to. All right. So that's where we are this week. Well, let me finish that thought. So if you're not in it for the long haul, run. Get ahead of it, because we know prices are high now. We know they're high and you can get out. If you want to take a look at how high they are and what you can get, send an email, info@smartbeachinvestor. We can take a look at the market and tell you what you got. And then you can decide if it makes sense to buy, sell, or hold. That's the market this week. Always changing, right? Sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's always changing. So check back next week. We'll have another report for you. We're always watching. Have a great week, everyone.